Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today we are witnessing the arrival of a brand new force in Dominion. A storm is gathering in the skies, lightning is flashing across the battlefield, and with it comes one of the most unique heroes we've seen in quite some time. Her name is Miyu, the Storm Maiden. This is our first look at Miyu in Hero Wars, Alliance, and today we're going to break down everything we currently know about her, her role, her faction, the mechanics behind her skills, and what makes this hero potentially one of the most interesting supports the game has introduced in recent seasons. Now remember, Guardians, this is a first look analysis. The hero is about to arrive on March 16th with the spring storm season, and our goal today is to understand how she works and what kind of strategies she might bring to Dominion. But the real testing begins once she actually lands in the game. And when that happens, we will dive much deeper with full guides, team compositions, counters, and build priorities. So let's begin. Miyu belongs to the Way of Mystery faction, and her role on the battlefield is support. She stands on the back line, empowering her allies while disrupting enemies in a very unusual way. Her entire kit revolves around one core mechanic, blindness. But here is where things get interesting. Unlike traditional blind mechanics in games where blindness reduces accuracy, Miyu's power twists that concept completely. She blinds everyone on the battlefield, including her own allies, yet somehow that chaos works in her team's favor. While allies are blinded, their attacks cannot miss and cannot be evaded. In other words, the blindness becomes a strange blessing for her team while turning into a nightmare for enemies. This mechanic alone already suggests that Miyu could introduce entirely new strategies and synergies in Dominion. Before we break down her skills, let's take a moment to look at the base hero overview and resource requirements. From what we can see here, Miyu is already displayed at level 120, with a power level of around 129,000, sitting in the backline as a support hero. She belongs to the Way of Mystery, a faction already known for control mechanics, manipulation, and battlefield disruption. Her equipment rank appears at rank 16. And her artifact level is shown at 100, which already gives us an early idea of the type of investment players may eventually need if they plan to fully develop this hero. So take a moment, Guardians, and observe the resources that will likely be required for her development. Like every new hero, building her properly will demand time, planning, and careful resource management. But now that we've looked at the overview, it's time to move into the heart of the analysis. Let's talk about her skills, and we'll follow the exact order shown in the hero interface. Her first skill is called Lightning Strike. This ability unleashes a flash of lightning that blinds all allies and all enemies on the battlefield for 6 seconds, while simultaneously dealing magical damage to enemies. At first glance, this might sound chaotic, blinding your own team might feel dangerous. But Miyu's mechanics change the meaning of blindness entirely. While affected by blindness, allies always hit their targets, and their attacks cannot be evaded. That means heroes who normally struggle against dodge mechanics could suddenly become incredibly reliable damage dealers while Miyu's effect is active. And there is one more important detail, Miyu herself is always blinded. That means her abilities are designed to function permanently under this mechanic. Already we can see that this hero is going to interact in very interesting ways with other mystery heroes and potentially with any hero who benefits from guaranteed hits. Now let's move to her second skill, called Veil of Insight. This ability applies blindness to the ally directly in front of Miyu for 5 seconds. But instead of harming that ally, it actually increases their magical critical hit chance, scaling with Miyu's magic attack. So once again we see the same concept, blindness is not a weakness here. It becomes a source of power. Any ally affected by blindness, through this ability receives an increase to their magical critical hit chance, which could significantly amplify burst damage from magic-based teams. This suggests that Miyu may work extremely well with heroes capable of dealing heavy magical burst damage, especially if they benefit from increased critical mechanics. Now we reach the third skill, called Blind Fury. This ability deals magical damage to the central enemy, and surrounding enemies, making it an area of effect attack. But the real twist comes from its interaction with blindness. Enemies who are blinded take increased damage from this ability. So once again the theme continues, the more blindness on the battlefield, the stronger Miyu becomes. This reinforces the idea that her entire kit revolves around spreading and exploiting blindness effects across the fight. And finally we arrive at her fourth skill, Gift of the Storm. This is a powerful passive buff that increases magic penetration whenever Miyu or her allies land a critical hit. Each critical hit increases magic penetration for 5 seconds, and this effect can trigger every 5 seconds. Magic penetration is one of the most valuable offensive stats in the game, especially for heroes dealing magical damage. Increasing it repeatedly throughout a fight could allow magic-based teams to break through even the strongest defenses. So when we look at all 4 skills together, we start to see the bigger picture. Miyu is not just a support hero. She is a battlefield manipulator. She spreads blindness across both teams, turns that blindness into advantages for her allies, increases magical critical potential, amplifies damage against blinded enemies, and boosts magic penetration whenever critical hits occur. In other words, she creates a chaotic storm on the battlefield where the normal rules of combat start to shift. Now of course, Guardians, everything we're discussing today is still part of the first look analysis. Numbers can change. Interactions might evolve. And the real test of any hero always happens once players start experimenting with teams and strategies. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Once Miyu officially arrives on March 16th, we will begin testing her in real battles across different scenarios. We'll explore which heroes synergize best with her, which teams maximize her strengths, and which counters might emerge against her mechanics. In the coming days you can expect full guides, team recommendations, counter strategies, and build priorities so that you can be completely prepared to face, or to use, the Storm Maiden when she finally arrives in Dominion. Because if her mechanics perform in battle the way they look on paper, Miyu might not just be another support hero. She might become one of the most unique control supports we've seen in Hero Wars. So stay tuned, Guardians. The storm is coming. And very soon, we'll discover exactly how powerful it truly is. Stay sharp. And as always, salute and friendship.